All right, this is Paul's Canada wrap up, just going over what worked, what didn't work, those kinds of things. Here, what you're going to see a lot of is you're going to see a lot of spinner baits, because if I had to say the theme of this trip, it has to be spinner baits. The other thing is I lost a lot of my best lures on, after catching fish at some point. So I'll just start over here. The spinners worked as good as anything on the whole trip. Everybody caught them. A lot of different colors. I think really the only ones that I didn't see catch a fish were these two. This one is like a sunfish one with the double willow, silver and gold blades, and then this one's a thicker one, chartreuse, like fire tiger type color. But neither of those ones I saw catch fish, but I saw this one catch a lot of fish. But the one that caught the most by far was this colored skirt on one of these War Eagle spinner baits. So these are War Eagle double willow spinner baits, 3/8 and ½ ounce. I think most of them are 3/8 to be honest. But this color skirt is called Mouse for that lure, and I brought 3 of them, and eventually one of them snapped in half after catching 20 some fish. The other, another one was lost when a leader bail popped open because the stupid thing came off after catching too many fish, and the other one I forget how it was lost. But anyway, War Eagle spinner baits, I brought a ton of them. We lost at least, I don't know, 8 of them. So can't really bring enough of those. They worked phenomenal. Moving on, chatterbaits. The chatterbaits actually worked. This one is one of their newer ones that has this kind of swivel head. It's got a special head on it that you can actually disconnect the hook. It's got one of those wide gap offset hooks on it, but it's also got like the dark blade instead of the bright silver. But this is just like one of these Kalin's trailers in Junebug color, but just black and blue, chatterbait. I caught a bunch, called it the Alien, caught a bunch on that. Black Fury, I was throwing the 5 this time, caught a bunch on that. The crankbaits I did not catch a lot on. This was the only rattle trap that caught anything, and I did probably catch like 10 fish on it or something, but they just didn't work like they did last time. This one in the river, again, I caught fish with. This one I just didn't fish with much, but I did catch fish when I did actually use it. This guy is a swim jig, and that takes me to, probably the MVP of the trip for me has to be this swim jig right here. So this was one that Torin had picked out recently, and it was just a single lure at this bait shop, and they had it fully outfitted, ready to fish. So they had like this trailer on it, was like this fat body shad in a perch color with a paddle tail worm on it. So that's what it originally had on it. It also originally had probably twice as many of the rubber bands on it. It lost as I caught more fish with it. It lost more. But the funny thing is, so the paddle tail trailer got chomped off eventually after maybe 10 fish, and then I used honestly probably 5 different trailers after that, and proceeded to catch fish on all of them. You can see that I caught so many on this. Like the jig head is like lead colored now. It used to be orange and yellow. I don't know. So I think this was like a perch colored type lure, but man, all I did, cast and retrieve, cast and retrieve, cast and retrieve, worked amazing. I threw this one a little bit. This one's got rattles. This is like a Strike King KVD 1/4 ounce swim jig with another one of those same trailers that I used over here. I caught fish with that, but I caught way more with that one. This lure, I actually ended up piecing this one together. I never caught much on this spinnerbait. The original skirt on it was like a white, it was like a bleeding shad, so it was like white with some red in it. And I caught so many fish with those spinnerbaits that had this color. In fact, I even had one of these like thicker ones. I didn't actually catch anything with this gold one, but I brought it out just to show that this was one of the thicker wire spinner baits that we had got from the sports show. And I happen to have one that had like the same color as this, and I caught a whole bunch of fish on it. It didn't seem to be as good as those War Eagle ones, but it was far more durable. And eventually I don't remember how I lost that one. I think my line snapped and I lost it, which was amazing. It was like 50-pound braid. But anyway, so after digging deep and not having any more of that color, I had a buzzbait with that color. I took the skirt off it and put it on this one and started throwing it out, and sure enough, boom, start catching fish. So the last thing I was going to talk about is spoons. I actually don't have any of the good ones to show you, but amazingly they worked. I used them on one of the last days and proceeded to catch 5 fish a piece with I think 4 different spoons. Ended up losing each of them. I was using my setup for crankbaits, which has a really bendy rod and only 10-pound line on it, and several times cast and it locked into place, and that line just snapped and the lure went sailing off into La La Land. So unfortunately can't show them to you. Why I wanted to put this one is to just show you kind of the curve on it. So what worked really good is 3 of the spoons that worked good were Little Cleos. It's a brand you can get, and if I had to choose, I would take the gold one that was about this size, so maybe 3 inches. And it was like this. It kind of had a curve in it, and when you fish it back, it just kind of either wobbles or kind of spins. And man, I don't know, they hit it. It was pretty amazing. So that one seemed like it caught the most. I had a bigger gold one that was like this long, maybe 4-inch, 5-inch, and it had like red, almost flames coming from one side of it. It was more orangish. That was the first one I tried using just because other orange things had worked. So I threw that one and that one. Sure enough, I caught 5 fish with that one. It just didn't seem like it had as good action as that gold Little Cleo that I got, though. But anyway, the other ones were a couple other Little Cleos, smaller ones about this size. They were silver, and they were half silver and half one color. So the one was blue, I think. That one caught at least 5, and then the other one was green. I only caught a couple on that one before losing it. But spoons worked very well. So if I had to do the trip all over again, I'd buy a whole bunch of those War Eagle spinner baits, especially in mouse color. I'd buy a bunch more swim jigs and trailers to go along with it. I'd probably have a couple more chatter baits. I'd still bring the rest of my stuff. I'd definitely buy some more spoons. I don't know. I think that's it. In terms of other equipment, we kind of covered that last time, but probably the most useful tool is those long grabber pliers that you use for pike. So those are used, these ones all the time. Definitely a must. The thing I wish I had more of, and what I would have got more of next time, is trailer hooks. So you can kind of see on this spinnerbait, there's an extra second hook on it, and you can kind of see here. It's just round, and it's big enough that a hook can go through it. And so to keep it from falling back off, you have this little plastic piece here. When you buy a pack of these trailer hooks, they'll actually call them trailer hooks, and they'll come with some plastic tubing, like maybe 4 inches of it or something, and you just cut it off. But instead of putting the hook through the normal way, you stick it through sideways, and that piece of plastic stays on there and then keeps your hook from falling off as you're fishing this along, and fish are hitting it and thrashing around. But I have to tell you, I don't know how many fish I caught on the trailer hook that may have been hits that I did not get, if I wasn't using the trailer hook. So I didn't have him for every spinnerbait, but used him for a lot. So, all right, that's my video.